Oh, I believe in the power of kindness. Yes, I believe in the power of love, power of love. Oh, I believe in the power of kindness. Yes, I believe in the power of love. We don't know what's coming. We can help shape what's ahead. With kindness as our currency, the Commonwealth is in our hands. So give a little, oh, give a lot, don't stop. A helping hand makes the world go round. There's more than enough. Oh, I believe in the power of kindness. Yes, I believe in the power of love, power of love. Oh, I believe in the power of kindness. Yes, I believe in the power of love. Listen up now, people, keep your ear to the ground. We are the river flowing, generosity abounds. So give a little, oh, give a lot, don't stop. A helping hand makes the world go round. There's more than enough. Oh, I believe in the power of kindness. Yes, I believe in the power of love, power of love. Oh, I believe in the power of kindness. Yes, I believe in the power of love. The honeybee serves sweetness only to help the world bloom, bringing love to the flower and the flower to the fruit. We could learn a thing or two. So give a little, oh, give a lot, don't stop. A helping hand makes the world go around. There's more than enough. Oh, I believe in the power of kindness. Yes, I believe in the power of love, power of love. Oh, I believe in the power of kindness. Yes, I believe in the power of love. We don't know what's coming. We can help shape what's ahead. With kindness as our currency, the Commonwealth is in our hands. So give a little, oh, give a lot, don't stop. A helping hand makes the world go round. There's more than enough. Oh, I believe in the power of kindness. Yes, I believe in the power of love, power of love. Oh, I believe in the power of kindness. Yes, I believe in the power of love. Oh, I believe in the power of kindness. Yes, I believe in the power of love, power of love. Oh, I believe in the power of kindness. Yes, I believe in the power of love.
was walking home from school on a cold winter day. Took a shortcut through the woods and I lost my way. It was getting late and I was scared and alone. Then a kind old man took my hand and led me home. Mama couldn't see him, oh, but he was standing there. I knew it in my heart, he was the answer to my prayers. Oh, I believe there are angels among us, sent down to us from somewhere up above. They come to you and me in our darkest hours to show us how to live, to teach us how to give, to guide us with the light of love. Life held troubled times, had me down on my knees. There's always been someone to come along and comfort me. A kind word from a stranger, to lend a helping hand. A phone call from a friend, just to say I understand. And ain't it kind of funny, at that dark end of the road, someone lights the way with just a single ray of hope. Oh, I believe there are angels among us, sent down to us from somewhere up above. They come to you and me in our darkest hours to show us how to live, to teach us how to give, to guide us with the light of love. They wear so many faces, show up in the strangest places. They grace us with their mercy in our time of need. Oh, I believe there are angels among us, sent down to us from somewhere up above. They come to you and me in our darkest hours to show us how to live, teach us how to give, to guide us with the light of love, to guide us with the light of love.
I'm grateful for the time I cherish the laughter. I remember all the tears, both happy and sad. And my precious loved ones are like gifts from above. They fill my heart till it overflows with so much love. Love brings us together and it gives us strength. It gets us through the hard times in sweet, amazing grace. And when you just can't seem to find your way, let love shine a light to soothe you, to hold you through the darkest of night. Oh, there has been sadness and there has been joy. We share it all together to fill the void. And my dear friends and family, just like angels on earth, when I am lost, they take my hand and lead me home. Love brings us together and it gives us strength. It gets us through the hard times in sweet, amazing grace. And when you just can't seem to find your way, let love shine a light to soothe you, to hold you through the darkest of night. Love brings us together and it gives us strength. It gets us through the hard times in sweet, amazing grace. And when you just can't seem to find your way, let love shine a light to soothe you, to hold you through the darkest of night. To soothe you, to hold you through the darkest of night.
Thank you so much. So beautiful. Welcome, everybody. And please stand and sing along with our opening song, The Face of God.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
And thank you, all you faces of God, for being here again. How grateful we are to be here this morning and able to share our joy in this special way. We are thankful for all the gifts that we've been given, the gifts of health, faith, hope, wisdom, love, and generosity, and many, many others. May we share these gifts with each other and take them with us out into the world. Amen. And again, welcome to Unity of Gulfport, Mississippi, not Gulfport, Florida. And I know we've got at least 2 first-time visitors we have with us today, and we welcome Minister James Buchanan of Unity, Dallas, Texas. And we would also like to welcome Scott Herford. Thank you. Welcome, welcome. Have I missed anybody? Okay, good, because I was going to say if I did, you're going to have to relay the name up here because I have decided to stop wearing my left hearing aid. It wasn't doing any good anyway and just continuing to irritate my vagus nerve. And y'all don't want my vagus nerve irritated. All righty. We come together to affirm and celebrate our unity, our oneness with each other and with the source of all that is. In that spirit of unity, let us pause to unfold in light and in love all the people in our community and in our world. The candle of unity signifies the light within each of us and our connection to the source of all that is, and so it is. Let us affirm our faith. I have faith that God is my instant, constant, and abundant supply. I have faith that God provides ways when to human sense there is no way. I have faith that God is guiding me in all ways. My health, happiness, and success are assured. And now our musicians will bless us with Surely the Presence.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and His grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. In the midst of His children, the Lord said He would be. It doesn't take very many. It could be just 2 or 3. And I feel that same sweet spirit that I felt oft times before. Surely I can say that I've been with the Lord. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and His grace. I can
I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. There's a holy hush around us as God's glory fills this place. Touch the hem of his garment, I can almost see his face, and my heart is overflowing in the fullness of his joy. I know without a doubt that I've been with the Lord. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel his mighty power and his grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Amen. Thank you. And now we are going to have Doug Lemire come on up and read the daily word.
Good morning, everybody. Today's word is grace. I trust grace is my constant blessing. Amazing word. As an expression of God, I need not ever worry about earning God's approval or favor. Grace is my assurance that I am one with God and heir to all God is. I know oneness during times of deep spiritual communion, understanding I am fully human and fully divine. Through this awareness, my experience of grace deepens. I understand grace as more than a gift from God and begin to see it as an aspect of my divine inheritance. Grace is not a blessing I need hope for. It is the blessing I can count upon. It is trusting I will have what I need when I need it, that most of my support will come to me, even from the most unlikely channels. Grace is knowing that God is with me and within me throughout my life. And from Ephesians chapter 2, verses 8, "For by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing. It is the gift of God." Amen.
Thank you, Doug. Announcements are on the slide and may also be found in the bulletin and in the newsletter. I just love your hat. I love your hat. Just got my attention. All right, so we're going to have refreshments after church in the fellowship building, as we always do, and then after that, Miss Nay and I are going to help the children decorate the fellowship building for Christmas. So we'll be taking down Thanksgiving and putting up Christmas. And I bet you those kids can come up with lots of good Christmas songs as we're decorating that tree like we did last year. Let's see, is today, and djembe drumming, is that today, I believe, Susan? Is today the 4th? Yeah, today's it's the 4th. So djembe drumming will also be in the fellowship building after church today. Okay. I will now turn the service over to our Reverend Judy.
Thank you, Beth, and thank you everyone for being here today. We're so glad, and we're so glad to have Reverend James Buchanan here representing Unity of Dallas. My goodness. He's here with LJ and Ron, his brother, and I knew that he was coming. I was just teasing when he came in. I said, "Now you do know you're giving the talk today, right?" He said it wouldn't be the first time. Indeed, it's not, is it? We always have a talk in our back pocket pretty much ready because we know that we might need to pull one out. You know, and we have several people out here in this audience that are able to do that too. If for any reason I weren't able to be here today, I'm sure there were several here that could just stand up and talk for unlimited amount of time. I know Matt could. Couldn't you, Matt? Oh, we're quite sure. And no one would be disappointed with listening to these musicians for the full hour, would they? Aren't we blessed? We're just so gifted with the music here and so appreciative. And that's gratitude, gratitude, gratitude for all things. Hasn't this been a wonderful week? Hasn't it been a wonderful week for reflecting and praising and gratitude? And I was just thinking this week, if you ever need a reason to be grateful, all you need to do is step outside. Take a deep breath. I don't care where you live. Walk down the street. Look at nature. Look at the trees this time of year. And we're so blessed because, and I know I tell you this every Sunday, how I love walking down to the water. I was standing there the other day and thought, man, if this isn't heaven, I don't know what is. And as we know, heaven is a state of mind, isn't it? We can find it anywhere if we choose. But this one particular day, I was standing there down at the harbor, took a deep breath, closed my eyes. Well, I'd like to invite you to do that now if you would. Close your eyes and let's imagine ourselves down at the water, at the edge where the earth meets the water and the water meets the sky. It's where I find God. With the gentle breeze, the sound of the seagulls, the gentle lapping of the waves. And it's in this moment that I'm able to align myself with that one power and that one presence from whence all life comes. The life that I've been gifted every single moment. And in these moments, as I allow my gaze to go inward and relax the muscles around the eyes and the face, this allows my gaze to go inward and my focus, the place to find God, all good. I invite you to do that this morning, no matter what huge trouble or challenge you brought with you. Let's put God on it. There is always, always a spiritual solution. Always. A spiritual solution is to be had. And
And in this moment, I see this challenge being transformed. Into what it is meant to be. And I'm transformed as I surrender my limiting thoughts around it, and I allow God to provide the solution. We do this in every area of our lives, our own personal challenges, health challenges, our family members, our community, and our world. Let's just place peace upon that. Whatever challenge comes to mind. And say, thank you, thank you, thank you, God. I am blessed beyond measure. Amen.
My body, my soul, all part of a perfect whole. My heart and my hands are serving a sacred plan. I know that is true when all that I am comes down to you. I know that is true. I know that I can rely on you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. My body, my soul belong to eternal time. My words and my song, you're writing them all along. I know that is true when all that I am comes down to you. I know that is true. I know that I can rely on you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. All that I am, all that I am, all that I am, God, I give to you. So completely I surrender to the will of the highest power. So completely I surrender all the love of my soul's creator. So completely I surrender to the will of the highest power. So completely I remember all the love of my soul's creator. So completely.
Thank you so much. It's beautiful, as always. So this morning, Reverend Alice is going to come on up. Reverend Alice Graham has been a member of here for about a year. She was not ordained within the Unity organization, but she certainly is welcome here and welcome to speak anytime she wants. We've ordained her ourselves. But she is Reverend Dr. Alice Graham, as a matter of fact. She started Back Bay Mission, or she was director of Back Bay Mission here in Biloxi till she retired a couple of years ago. Now we see a lot more of her, and we're most appreciative. She has some words of wisdom for us.
For everything, there is a season. Most of us are familiar with the song by the Byrds, Turn, Turn, Turn. Pete Seeger arranged the lyrics in 1959. It became #1 on the charts in the early 60s. The origin of the lyrics was much earlier and comes from Ecclesiastes chapter 3. These are likely the oldest lyrics ever. For everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under the heavens. Thank you, Marcus. A time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted. And I'm going to go back. For everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to dance. Although the wording could be changed, there is much truth in these lyrics. These passages contain the seasons and times of our lives, both joyful and painful. These are happy and sad times, leisurely and productive. Some inspire peace and others bring pain. We know that as we come to different challenges in our lives, they are less difficult because of the wisdom, discernment, and understanding that we have accumulated during our earlier lives. When we consider that, we know that many of the experiences we have gone through were necessary for us to become the person we are today. For these things and more, we are grateful.
Thank you, Reverend Alice. I have to say that when she retired from her position at Back Bay Mission, and I had first met her right after Katrina, not long after Katrina, she came down to found a group. She came down with a group to help clean up and decided that she needed to move here. And she became director of another group, Mississippi Gulf Coast Interfaith Disaster Recovery Task Force. Okay, don't ask me to re-say that. it's where she and I first met, and just, I loved her from the moment I met her. And it has stayed that way. When she moved to Back Bay Mission, we went to the first night, the celebration. We were there, had our pictures made together, our photographs made together. When she retired and started coming to church here, I couldn't believe it. I thought, my goodness, of all the churches in the Biloxi Gulfport area, and she chooses this one. And then she kept coming and kept coming. I thought, we must be doing something right. If we've attracted this wise woman, thank you. Thank you for your words this morning. And another wise woman, Tammy Breidenbeck, has some more wise words for us. Come up, Tammy.
Good morning. Good morning. Nothing is static. Let's look at the definition of static. Lacking in movement, action, or change, especially in a way viewed as undesirable or uninteresting. And we have all had to make those decisions to move from a stuck spot into a spot where we have some movement. So during challenging times, being flexible, humble, teachable, and open will help us to navigate life's changes more readily. The longer we argue with what has occurred, for example, if we say, if only a different result had been had, whether we deserve this, what did I do to have this happen, the more painful our transition to the next level is going to be. What has happened is done. We can't change that. All we can do is move on with as much dignity and love as possible. Sometimes we are on the threshold of something new and we're disoriented and confused as to what to do. Sometimes things occur that may seem painful and unfair, but on reflection, you discovered that without overcoming these obstacles, you could have never realized your potential, your strength, your willpower, or your heart. So nothing in life is static. As the late Unity minister and teacher Eric Butterworth often said, the process of life is grow and go. Grow and go. As soon as we grow to the next higher level in our consciousness, it's time to go to the next level. And on we grow and go unless we resist. Then we get kicked till we grow and go. During difficult times, you must take your time and be gentle with yourself. Consider using this powerful prayer. God, I ask that you help me to know what to create with my life and to be at peace with whatever that is. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. That was great. She gave a talk a few weeks ago that was incredibly inspiring and fun. Thank you so much. So there was a woman that was meeting some new friends, and they were an older couple. She'd never met with them before, and they were at dinner, and so she asked the woman, she says, well, what do you do with your time? She said, well, I'm becoming an artist. She's in her 70s. She said, really? She was intrigued. She said, really, you're becoming an artist? She said, yes. I decided 2 years ago that I wanted to do art. And at that time, I couldn't even draw a stick figure. Truly, could not. But she said there was something in me, a passion, a desire, that made me want to draw and to paint. So the woman she was talking to said, well, could you show me some of your work? Do you have anything on your phone? She said, well, I just happened to. She showed her 4 paintings. There were a couple of landscapes, a couple of wildlife, and she said they were absolutely extraordinary. Couldn't believe it. At this point in her life, when she first met the couple, she thought, well, whatever they were doing, they'd been doing for, 50 years maybe. Certainly wouldn't expect someone 70 to say they're becoming an artist. So the woman that was telling the story said that it encouraged her because she'd always wanted to play the piano. So that week she went and signed up and started lessons, found a wonderful teacher. That's how change happens sometimes, isn't it? Today we're going to talk about change. There's slow change, and that's evolutionary change. Sometimes it happens easily, fluidly, it flows. But a lot of us know about other change too, don't we? Those hard changes, the hard pivots. I'm going to talk in a moment about the hard pivots in life. But first, I have another sweet little story about soft change. And it's how a lot of us are moving from one season to another and still doing it while alive. Don't quit. As Tammy said, nothing in the universe is static. Nothing. I remember seeing on, those inspirational things you see on TV. 20 years ago or so, my granddaughter and I were watching Dr. G. Does anybody remember Dr. G and all the she's a doctor and she a pathologist anyway. They were talking about the death of this one man. He'd had a really bad virus, and they didn't know, though, what he died from. But it turned out that he lay static on his sofa with a virus until he actually died. And I remember her saying that, and what I got from it is life is about living. And if you're not living and if you're not moving, then you're static. And of course, there's not going to be any dynamic energy to come in to push you towards something great, is there? If everything around you is stagnant, and like with him, he died. When her take on it was, if he had just gotten up and made himself move, he could have gotten over it. Now, my husband and some others in the room I know something about that, pushing forward even when it hurts. He's had 2 major surgeries this year, one on his shoulder where he tore the rotator cuff, and then had knee replacement about a month ago. And that's what the physical therapist told him. He said, it's going to hurt, but if you don't move, you're not ever going to regain the function of that knee or that shoulder or whatever it is. So nothing is static. And thank you for pointing that out, Tammy. We appreciate that. Nothing is static in life. Things do move slowly sometimes, though. Sometimes we find ourselves at the age of 70-something, 74 maybe. Let's take that as an example. And we'll say, how did I get here, and where did that white hair come from? My goodness. Well, it came on slowly, didn't it? It didn't. It didn't just appear one day. Most of the things in our lives come on that way. We age. We raise our children. We send them to school, and they break our hearts because we want to keep them with us, but we know that we must send them on. So many things that do challenge us. But as Eric Butterworth said, you grow and then you go. and it may hurt a little bit in the process. I read another story of a woman. She was telling it in, I believe it was Reader's Digest, and it was so touching. It touched my heart. She said she took her young pup to a dog park in Manhattan, and she did this regularly whenever she had the opportunity. If the weather was good enough on a Saturday, she would go. And she just loved watching it, because watching the dogs was a lot like watching people. They have the same sort of social constructs that we do. What's acceptable, what's not. The grizzled old guys would be growling at the young ones that were just a little bit too friendly and getting in their face too much. But she said it's really comical if you'll just watch. But there was a man sitting on the bench with her, and he looked up. He was reading something, looked up and yelled for his dog, and he said, "Buddy, Buddy," yelled it really loud, and Buddy didn't come. So it got her attention, and she looked over to see who he was motioning for. And it was an older dog that was just standing there, not with the others, but just standing looking at the group. And so he yelled for him again, and Buddy still didn't come. So he went over to where Buddy was standing at the fence watching the other dogs, and he reached down and petted him. He said, "Come on, Buddy, let's go." And so they went and sat down on the bench. And the woman says, "Oh, is he blind?" And he said, "No, he has dementia. And he doesn't remember where he is anymore. He doesn't remember how to go out and play with the other dogs, and doesn't have the energy to do it either." He said, as a matter of fact, in our home, what we first noticed was that he would become disoriented, and he didn't know where he was. He was confused. And he laughed. He said, and if he could become confused in a Manhattan apartment, as small as that is, then we knew something was really seriously going on here. So his partner took Buddy to the vet, and they lovingly did all they could to encourage Buddy to have the quality of life that he could. He said, so I bring him here. I bring him here so that he can at least get out and get the little exercise that he can, that he feels like. And then I take him home, and sometimes we sit up late at night because he doesn't sleep well. He said either my partner or myself will sit up with him and watch movies as late as we can, because he loves just sitting there and having company and watching movies. So I know we've all known several buddies in our lives, haven't we? We've had several of those situations. Some are with our animals, or some are with our family members. And we have to lovingly accept the change. And I think that we do that with ourselves too. We love our own bodies. We keep ourselves exercised enough to continue growing as long as we can. Our friend Roger, that passed on to the next life back in September, he told us one Sunday during the pandemic that his dog Bella had come to that point in her life too, and that although he'd like to get up and walk briskly, he sat on a bench with Bella because it's all she felt like doing. And he did that in the afternoon sun many, many days before Bella passed on. And it touched my heart that Roger did that. So this is slow, gradual change, and it happens at many times during our lives, doesn't it? And then there's abrupt change. And our friend Sharon here this morning knows all about that. And that's when your partner receives some pretty abrupt and disturbing news. And then before you can hardly blink your eye, they're gone. They're gone. Apollo Ono, I don't know how many of you have heard of him. He's the most decorated Winter Olympian from the U.S. He wrote a book a few years ago called Hard Pivot. Anybody ever read it or know much about him? Hard Pivot, do you? It's an astounding book. And then after you read it, you're amazed that this young man had learned all that in his lifetime, but he did. He goes on to explain what a hard pivot is. A hard pivot in speed skating is when you're hurtling down the straightaway on the ice in a self-propelled sport, and you're reaching the corner where you need to lean over at an impossible angle, carry that turn on one leg, and then whip around the corner in a complete opposite direction without slowing down. As you hurtle down to the next corner, and improperly executed, of course, is painful and it hurts, and sometimes you fall with others, and if that happens, you can either stay down or you can pick yourself back up and continue on the path. He said that while he looked back on his career, when it became time for him to retire, and Olympians retire at a young age, remember, they're usually not at mid-age when we get that gentle urge or nudge that we want to do something different. But he said that he could have regretted all of the times when he went to all these new cities, and he hardly saw anything there. He had been nearly every place in the world. And when he really thought about it, he couldn't tell you much about the sights. Yeah, been to Tokyo. He'd seen none of the beauty there. All he had seen, though, was the hard, grueling work that perfected his skill and his life's purpose at that time. And you see, it was all of that that propelled him forward and motivated him to write the book that encouraged people, no matter where you find yourself in life, no matter, take the turns with as much ease and grace as possible, is what he encourages. And he gives a few tips, and I'll tell you about that in just a moment. He said there are just so many times in our lives when we do need to reinvent ourselves. And I think this is as good an example as anyone that I can think of, as someone that has honed his physical skill, his balance, all of this, all the young years of his life from the time he was, before he was a teen. And he started competing in his early teens. And so this is what he had done with all of his young life. Now here he is, retiring. What do you do? I know I was reading another Unity minister, Bill Eckhart. He wrote a piece on unity.org, and he was telling about when change comes, and you need at midlife, it's time for a change. And he said that during his lifetime, he was really, really good at knowing when he was complete with his last venture. The first for him had been in his early years. Then he knew when he was complete and it was time to move on. Then he knew when he became a Unity minister and he served at some larger churches, And he said he was quite certain that he was complete. He just didn't know what he was moving on to. And that's what brought the hard pivot for him. I know I'm finished with what's just happened, but I don't know what's to occur. And a lot of us find ourselves at that point in life, and it is a hard pivot. I don't care what age you are or what season in life. But he said what drew him onward to go on with his next piece in life was that he went ahead and resigned because he knew he was complete there. He did not know where the next open door would take him, but he was willing to have faith and to trust. He had faith in that in-between time, the time in the hallway, that we might call it. Mary Mann Morrissey calls it the time in the desert. Just don't pitch a tent and stay there. We all know that. But these are some pretty hard pivots. When you leave a place where you're known, you've had a title like he had, you just don't know yet where you're going. And sometimes there's an in-between time. And this is what Apollo Ono talked about too. This was not comfortable. He can write about it now, and he has comfort knowing that there was a book that came out of that, and I think he's had 3 more books now since that time. But the time he didn't, now listen, he's leaving a career where he's the most decorated Winter Olympian United States has ever had, and all of a sudden tomorrow he's doing nothing. Nothing. That is a pretty hard pivot, isn't it? And you've got to have trust, and you've got to have faith. And to me, he didn't mention this in so many words, but I think you have to have a motivator when you come to those hard pivots. There's got to be a motivator. And it may be peace of mind. It may be passion, like art or something like that you haven't done in your lifetime, but that passion has got you. And it may be finishing something, being complete in your life. But whatever it is, it will spur you on. He encourages, though, daily practices of gratitude, just like I said about going out and just being grateful. All the things, he mentioned how many things we take for granted. Once you start a practice of gratitude, you'll be amazed how many things there are to be grateful for. And it's in that attitude, that energy. It's a dynamic energy, and it will bring more good to you. Give, he said, before he knew what he was going to do when he was in that in-between time. Give. I remember being at home many years ago, and I was quite concerned. I had an elder's care that I was concerned with. It was an elderly aunt, and she had no children, and I was responsible for her care, and I had made some promises to her, and I had made some promises to myself. But she was in South Florida, and I had one particularly challenging decision I needed to make. And I'd been praying about it all day, and I was having a prayer vigil. And I received a phone call, and it's a woman that had come to the church a few times, and she was pretty needy. And she was crying, and she said, "Miss Judy, they've turned off my electricity, and I don't know what I'm going to do." And so I got her details, I got her account number, and Dan took me down to the Mississippi Electric, and I gave them, apparently it happens all the time, I gave them her account number, paid her account up to date, and even put some on it for the following month. And on the way home, there was such a lifting of this burden that I'd been carrying around for my elder's care. And do you know, before the day was over, a benevolent answer had come. And it was one that had not even come to me before. But I cannot overemphasize the need to give. When you feel you're even desperate yourself, or you have depression going on, you don't know where to go, even if you're grieving, whatever. Care for yourself, but find a way to give to someone. Grit and stamina, determination. I've got a dozen stories there, but I won't give them to you right now. One is of a relative of mine that was a great-grandmother, and there was a family meeting because it turned out that a young teenager, the only place he could live and would live was with his great-grandparents, because they had pretty much cared for him since the time he was born. He was having difficulty with his parents, his grandparents, and so the social worker was very opposed to it and said to the woman, who was 80 and her husband was 86 and he was elderly and needed care. She said, "Well, Miss Claire, how long do you think you can care for your great-grandson? You know that you're not getting any younger." And boy, this spurred her on. She said, "No, but I'm going to give you a short answer. I can do it as long as it takes." And she did. He graduated from high school. He went to the Marines. He did 2 tours of duty in Afghanistan. And he's a fine, upstanding young man. And he regularly thanks his great-grandmother and his great-grandfather. Turns out he was a help too, because he was able to help his great-grandfather get to bed at night. He couldn't on his own. Just so many times in our lives we need all of these things. Grit. And when you get to not that the soft turnings are easy, they're not, are they? Just with our fellow buddy, that's not easy. We have some buddies in our own lives. That's not easy either, and it surely tugs at those heartstrings. Gratitude, giving, grit, gearing up, learning what is yours to do. And as Eric Butterworth said, now go and do something. Go and do something. You may still be in the hallway, but figure one way today that you can serve. I'm wishing all of you sweet, soft turns in your life and hardly any hard pivots. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Reverend Judy. Now we give expression to our appreciation for all that is offered here at Unity at Gulfport. Please take your offering in your hands and say along with me, "Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, and I trust in God." Thank you.
Welcome to a place that knows you as God. Welcome to a place that sees who you are. We are of one mind. We are of one heart. Welcome to a place that knows the truth, that God is everything. God is me, God is you. Welcome to a place
that knows you as God. Welcome to a place that knows you as God. Welcome to a place that knows you as God.
We love and bless this woman that handles these children every single Sunday. Thank you, Miss Nay. And you did a great job with the Thanksgiving luncheon. We are so grateful. All the things I am grateful for couldn't fit on a list. We give thanks this morning for every person present. We give thanks for the energy, the loving energy that they brought with them, and the light and love they will take with them as they go out into the world. We're grateful for these tithes and offerings. We ask that they would be multiplied tenfold for the giver and the receiver, heaped up, pressed down, and running over. So it is. Amen. Okay, children, we want to bless you because you have blessed us.